home to this exciting event. Thank you for allowing the Mandalay Bay family to be a part of that. And with that, I'd like to introduce my friend and business partner, the President and CEO of Cirque du Soleil, Daniel Lamar.
Thank you very much, Chuck. I don't have to do a big speech about the importance of the partnership we have with MGM. It's amazing what we have been doing together over more than 18 years of partnership on the Strip. We started at the other end with Mystère, but we were always hoping that one day we will be present at this end. And as Chuck taught me, this is the beginning of the Strip. And now, with Michael Jackson, we have a home at the beginning of the Strip. And thank you so much, Chuck, and your team to hosting us here. Obviously, I came today with a lot of friends from Cirque du Soleil, obviously the full team of Jerry Nadal, but I also brought with me our new COO, Charles Descaries, who is with us today. I also brought our CMO, our Chief Marketing Officer, Mario D'Amico, and brought also Charles Jouron, who is Chief Executive Officer of all production at Cirque du Soleil, but in this particular show, he's acting as the executive producer. One guy who's always hiding in the shadow of Guy Laliberté, and I want to stress his role today, is really our Chief Content Officer, Jean-François Bouchard. Jean-François is with us today. You don't hear a lot about him because he's a very humble guy, but he's the one who is now rejuvenating the content of Cirque du Soleil by bringing with him a lot of new creators. And so when we had this conversation about Michael Jackson, obviously we were all very excited about the success of Immortal Tour that was #1 on box office in North America, that is now traveling in Europe and being sold out in all the major markets in Europe, and will soon go to South America and Asia. The success of Immortal Tour, we see it almost like a promotional tool, Chuck, for our permanent show here. But we wanted the content of each show to be very different, but at the same time, as I was talking with Jean-François and Guy, there's one guy we wanted to keep with us, and that was Jimmy King, because Jimmy knows so well the universe of Michael Jackson. At the same time, we wanted to make sure that this show will be very different, and that's when Jean-François came out with this great idea of bringing, as creative director, will be Altidore. And you will see an amazing team that we have created that will make sure that this show will be very different. When you have a press conference like today, you think about the origin of a project like this. And I remember my first meeting with John Branca, and John says, you know, we want a home of Michael Jackson in Las Vegas. I'm so happy today that with the support of MGM and of Chuck in particular, we can offer you now the new home of Michael Jackson, the Mandalay Bay. Up to you now.
Thank you, Danielle, and thank you, Chuck. We are absolutely thrilled to renew our creative collaboration with Cirque du Soleil. Michael Jackson was a big fan of Cirque. In fact, I can recall in 1987 going with Michael to the first ever Cirque 10 show, which was held at the pier in Santa Monica, California. And after the show, Michael wanted to go backstage. He wanted to meet the performers. And I'll never forget that moment, because I couldn't tell who was more excited, Michael to meet the performers, or the performers to meet the King of Pop. Berry Gordy called Michael the greatest entertainer who ever lived. And it's our intention with this show to pay tribute to Michael Jackson. The Immortal show, which was the ultimate Michael Jackson concert experience, demonstrates the strength of the partnership between Michael and Cirque du Soleil. With a couple living artists you may have heard of, Bruce Springsteen and Madonna, was the biggest grossing tour in the world in 2012. And so what we want to do is not clone the Immortal show. That would not be Michael's way. He was a groundbreaker, he was pioneer, he was innovative. We want to create a new show, and we think it will be dazzling. And so I'd like you to join me in welcoming the two men who are responsible for bringing the show to life. Our Director of Creation, Welby Altitor, and our Stage Director, Jamie King.
I mean, I must say, I prefer to call you show director. I feel it's more true to what you actually do for the show. It's been really, I remember about a little bit over a year ago, Jamie and I met with Carla Kama, who's the associate show director on this project. And you know, I remember saying something to Jean-François. I remember saying to him, Jean-François, I want to meet Jamie and I want to feel if we can actually work together, if we can connect. And I say this with a lot of humility, but I really feel that very quickly we realized that we could speak the same language, even though most of the time I will go with the long-winded version and Jamie will go with the shorter one.
True.
Jamie, I'd love you to say a little bit about the inspiration for the show, because certainly when thinking about Michael Jackson, one thing that's really clear is the genius that he brought and that really touched so many of us. And I think that was one of the early inspiration for the work that we've started to do with the incredible designing team, creative team that we have. So tell us a little bit about that genius that we explored.
Well, before I go there, and thank you for the beautiful setup. We don't get along at all, by the way. This is totally not real. Just kidding. I love this guy. But I just wanted to say a special thanks to you guys, because you're letting me do this again, the second time around, and it's been so great so far. I mean, the first time was amazing. To think that I could pull another one out, birth another show, it's working, and it's, I think, better than ever, so I'm very excited about it. So I just want to thank both of you for entrusting me, all you guys back there who are hiding for entrusting me to do this again, and then also to you, because we've got a long history here at Mandalay Bay. You just recently, K-Viva, put that up, and I appreciate that very much. So it's nice to be home again. I love Mandalay Bay, and I love all that you give to us, and I really appreciate this second opportunity. So that's the first thing I want to say. Outside of that, Welby, you're the greatest guy ever. Carla Kama, my associate show director, thank you for all your support. And I see performers out there, and I just have to give them a quick shout out. My dancers and acrobats, you're there, you're awesome, and you're doing so good. But you have to keep working. We're not finished, okay? You have to impress all these people right here. A tough audience. And they know also from my experience in working with Michael Jackson, who was not only a friend, but a great boss and mentor early on in my career in 1992. Wow. That he strives for perfection, and that everything he does is with a childlike heart. Now, what does that mean? This is what you were talking about. Early on when we met, we said, how do we approach this? We want to make sure that it has a Michael energy to it, which is most important. That it's a new project and it feels fresh. And I said, well, that's easy, because for Michael, every day was fresh. Every day was new. Every day had to be bigger and better than the last one. So we decided early on to approach this project with a childlike heart, meaning anything is possible. Sky's the limit. Never settle for second best, and that's the show we're going to deliver to you guys. A big, huge, amazing spectacle that is unlike no other. So, with Michael's energy behind it.
And certainly there was, when I think of all the process that we've been through, certainly there's something also that's quite humbling. First, because we're dealing here with the creative, legacy of Michael Jackson, so there's a huge responsibility that comes with that. And in addition, we're also dealing with the creative legacy of Cirque du Soleil at a very pivotal time in our evolution as a creative force in the world. So these two elements were something really that we were taking into account from the get-go of this